All right, hello, and welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are playing One Ring Second Edition today, this afternoon. We're continuing our Waking of Angmar campaign. We're nowhere near Angmar, relatively speaking, at the moment. But the good news is that one of the players' characters is very, very close to death. So that's basically in the spirit of things. I frankly don't understand why Steven's here. But he is nonetheless here. So
you didn't tell me not to show. I just had nothing better to do today.
I kept being like, "Hey, Steven, you want to play this character? No. You want to play this character? No. You want to play this character? No. Like, do you want to even be on the stream?" And then there was a very long silence.
Moral support, you know?
Yeah. Very long silence.
He wants to look us in the eyes to see how we react to his death.
Yeah, he's going to judge that like, that's interesting. No one seems nearly upset about Daggett dying as they were about Gilly and Aurinial almost dying. That's strange. That works. There's no fancy, sad music, stories being told, flashbacks, nothing like that. That's weird how that works.
Why are you all smiling?
I don't know. Free loot. You can just hand all that great loot over to Tara now, and you're good to go.
I'll even call it Black Fang.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna call it by its proper name?
Yes. Oh wow. Motivation has been cemented here. This is now the good choice.
Yep. Doesn't take much. Just gotta call it by the right name and actually use the items that you're given and not throw them away to random NPCs that you meet along the road. Anyhow, why don't we go ahead and get to our character introductions and then we'll dive in. Long, tell us about Floy.
I am Floy, soon to be the sole dwarf of the party. As it should be.
That is 100% correct. Absolutely. On both accounts. Next up, Gilly. Ashley, tell us about Gilly.
I'm playing Gilly Kettlegrass. I am the soul hobbit Bree person. Just cemented that we have 7 fellowship right now because I forgot about my racial trait. That gives us an extra one. And the fact that we did that thing. So yeah.
So I want to say thank you to Valdrin for the raid. Just came in. We're just getting started. Perfect timing. Just doing a quick little intro, and then we're going to get going. But thank you so much. Go ahead and go follow them. Melissa dropped a shout out in the chat, so go click on it, follow them, and yeah, we'll get going. Next up, we do have Melissa again. Melissa, tell us about Aurinial.
Yeah, so Aurinial is our Ranger of the North champion. She is happy to be joined by her old friend Tara and is a bit concerned that she might be getting both her existing fellowship and her old friend killed with this little thing that we were like, oh yeah, named org, we can totally take care of this for you. We're going to be the heroes. This is going to be relatively easy after all the things that we have seen, and it is not. She is concerned.
I mean, relative to other things you all have done, this is pretty easy. No shadow points or anything like that. Nothing like that going on. It's just straight up combat. It's not my fault that Daggett isn't good at it. It's not my fault. That's on him.
My dice turned on me.
You wanted to 1v1 him, and you did, and lost. So, this is how you barely even scratched him, too. I was like, look, I was setting up my sheets today, and I was looking at him like, man, he's pretty healthy. Anyhow, wow. Should we just all right, I guess go ahead and introduce him, Steven. Who's Daggett?
yeah, I'm almost dead Daggett. Friendly, lovable dwarf that everyone wants in the party and wants to save so that he comes back for another session.
You were in Gilly's dream when she was dying, so you're family.
There we go.
Yeah, but so is Sorendir, and he's been dead for a year, so whatever. And then finally, we have our Steven replacement. We have Maitre. Not just replacement, but upgrade. Maitre, tell us about Tara.
Not an upgrade. Trying to save this dwarf who she's committed to being friends with. And so I'm playing Ternath, Aries' old drinking buddy, and Warden Ranger, and still learning this system. I'm very excited about the trial by fire, learning combat. Really, really dig it. Sorry, you're almost dead, Steven.
Y'all just see what Aaron just dropped in the chat. 1,000 bits.
1,000 bits to bring the pain.
For Jeff. For me. That's me. None of you are Jeff. It says it on the overlay. It's me. Thank you, sir.
Aaron already tries to kill me in Conan. Now he's coming into One Ring trying to get me dead too.
Aaron could have killed you if he wanted to.
Multiple times.
He could have killed you fairly easily. But yeah, he's like, I might as well just leave you around to just torture you for the next several sessions. I think that's what it is. Because that's essentially what's happening in the Katai session. All right, let's get started. So summary, quick things. Last session, we finished up recuperating. You had a meeting after about a week and a half or so with Tharnau and Murdoch, the sons of the captain of Tharbad, the head of Tharbad. And you decided that you all were going to kind of work together to hunt down these orcs. Aglar the Unbroken is the name of their leader. You could definitely sense that there was a ton of animosity between the brothers, but Tharnau, at the very least, was treating you all with some respect and demonstrating a little bit of humility. Each brother brought a couple of their finest scouts, and so with you and them together, you started hunting. And you kind of went all over the place, found some old ruins, some goblin traps that you kind of came in contact with here and there. You spent a night underground as you discovered this sort of network of subterranean tunnels that the orcs were using perhaps to, and some of the goblins as well, to sort of traverse the land unseen. Not only that, there were these little markings here and there suggesting that they were actually communicating with each other in some way. So eventually, however, after about a day and a half of hunting during a very rainy afternoon, it was pouring rain, tons of fog, you all discovered a kind of a ruined old fortress, still decently intact with a tall tower. And you kind of took out a couple goblin lookouts that were hiding in a handful of trees nearby. You snuck in the back through some kind of old root cellar that connected to an old well at a cottage about a mile away. And you snuck in, you took out a few of the goblin archers that were on the walls, and then the battle began. I think it was Tara and Floy and some of your allies started charging into the courtyard, taking out these orcs left and right. Gilly and Arinial were up on the walls, kind of shooting a bow and trying to get to a higher level. Daggett went to 1v1 Aglar. He kind of snuck into the tower, tried to come at him from behind. Aglar turned around, and he was pretty brutal. He just kind of kept pushing Daggett back. And while Daggett was able to get in a few hits, his hits did not hit as hard as Aglar's did. And eventually, Aglar kind of drove Daggett over a platform in the tower, smashed him into the ground, a whole floor below into the concrete. Daggett lies unconscious with Aglar the Unbroken in his massive tower shield standing over top of him, ready to kill Daggett. Could very easily land this killing blow. While Floy is the closest ally and is just probably 10, 20 steps away. But there are two of these fighting orcs in the way, and there's Aglar himself. So let's go ahead and go back to the map, shall we? Let's see. Let's get a little music going, and let's switch you on over. So we're starting up a new round. So we were back in combat. We were starting directly in combat again. So I just want to remind you of a few things before we get going. The NPCs, so all the NPCs in green are there for you to use as you see fit. You can tap into them to potentially get a bonus die. But if you do, then that does leave whoever they're kind of engaged with to potentially come and attack you as well. So there's a trade-off to that. Gilly, you and Arinial are essentially on the third story ring of the tower, so you're very high up over top of Aglar. You can see through a handful of these small broken slats in the roof of the tower down into where Daggett is lying bleeding. There are two goblins that are on the effectively would be the second floor level, maybe about 15 feet up or so, on the wall that are kind of firing across the way or whoever they can get to. So that is where we are at. And Floy, I say everyone but Tara probably knows exactly what happens to Daggett, but I'm sure you all are communicating and shouting out, so I'm sure Tara would also be familiar as well. All right.
That was actually going to be my question, so thank you for that.
Yeah. Let's do it then. So we're going to go into, let's get your stances. What do we all want to go into?
Go forward.
Okay.
Agreed.
Okay. Forward stance. You're also going into forward stance, Aurenial? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
She says with uncertainty.
You have one wound.
Just remember that. So does Tara, I believe. I think Tara just got wounded in the battle.
Yeah.
Very minor wound, but it still counts, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think Floy and Gilly are both free of wounds currently. Technically, Daggett hasn't been wounded. He's just run out of endurance and been knocked out. And I already communicated this to the party, but he is free to killing blow Daggett. Stephen is very well aware of this, and I have made it clear that in order for that to be prevented, someone or some few have to do something pretty heroic. So let's see. Let's make sure we get our.
I changed mine to open. I'm sorry,
No problem. All right, so let's do some targeting stuff. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so you guys, even with Daggett going down, you still technically outnumber outnumber. So you're free to kind of assign yourselves to whoever. I think right now, Floy, you were kind of on the Uruk there, but we're kind of outside of this to some degree.
Jeff, I realized that probably within the structures of the game, I should probably be doing Protect Companion, which is a combat task for defensive.
Yeah, but it's Protect Companion. I believe you have to be engaged with that person, if I recall.
Yeah, it's still melee, so I'm still like
you have to get down there still. You're
exactly
25, 30 feet in the air. You got to get down there somehow. But once you do it, okay. All right. So, and I think by the rules of the game, Protect Companion is just a -1d6 to the attack. So technically, Aglar would still be able to attack, but I would rule it that if someone goes to do that, if they can get through there, that's fine. But you coming down from above or Floy trying to bulldoze his way through this choke point, either one of those, I'm going to require a skill check of some kind, like probably athletics or whatever other ideas you might have to kind of get in there. Just because of the way this terrain's laying out. So, Floy and Aurenial, you're both in a forward stance. So I'm just going to... Nope, I'm sorry. Melissa is changing Aurenial to open stance. Floy, you're in forward stance. You got this Uruk in your way. You've just seen Daggett fall to the ground. He's bleeding. He's not moving. And Aglar, he's got this crooked black axe. He's got this massive towered shield. And he looks up at you. You're next. And he looks like he's about to swing and literally chop Daggett's head off. What do you want to do, Floy?
Daggett's no! I bring up my axe. Have Thar now right next to me. We'll both swing as hard as we can into this guy's shield to knock him back so I can get over him.
Okay, wonderful. So Tharnau will charge up. Tharnau is friendly with Daggett, so I think Tharnau might even demonstrate a bit of concern. So he charges up. You're taking a bonus to this. Athletics test. If you're just trying to push past him, I would say just athletics test.
Sounds good.
Okay. This will be your action for the round.
We got a great success.
Okay. So I'll say between you and Tharnau, you essentially push this Uruk back a bit, which gives you room to then kind of cross the distance. Do you want Tharnau to come with you, or do you want Tharnau to engage with one of these lieutenants?
Yeah, we'll both come over and engage in this fight.
All right. So both you and Tharnau now are connected or kind of essentially engaged with Aglar, which is going to give him a thought about whether or not he'll continue to swing down at Daggett or not. So the line has been broken. There is now somebody on Aglar. Okay, so then let's go to open stance, and that's you, Tara. Tara, you're the only one in open stance. What would you like to do?
Didn't Ari also change stuff?
She switched to protection.
Yeah, sorry.
Or defensive, I should say.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure you got first if you had line of sight. I'm gonna try and charge in as close as I can.
Sure. It's not a massive courtyard. I mean, I would say you would be able to kind of take your pick. If you want to charge in and kind of get on one of the ones in the doorway, that's fine. Probably the one that's just like stumbling past. Like if you wanted to do that, that's fine with me.
Is there a way for me to get around Angmar, like on the other side?
I would say because the doorway is open, if you wanted, that's a long way. I would say yes, you could, but I would say that would probably take up your action. It's not just like incidental movement. That's a long way to
trying
traverse.
to use that.
Okay, so we'll say you charge in as well. The Uruks are kind of stumbling off to the side, and he's now becoming quickly surrounded.
Cool. Did you need an athletics check or anything?
No, because he's already kind of broken. Because Floy already broke the choke point. I would say you don't necessarily need that in this case.
Awesome.
He needed to push past them. The doorway is now open.
Sweet.
Okay, Auriniel, you're up next.
Yeah, so Auriniel is, I believe, as you said, on a wall that is about 3 stories up.
That is correct. There also, I believe, if I recall from last session, there is a grappling hook and a rope that Gilly had lowered. So that is still in the vicinity. So you could potentially use that if you wanted to. What do you want to do?
I think that would look super cool that she's going to kind of use that a bit
Just
to
like rappel down.
I'm going for like a full on swing and
Tarzan
like
swing?
superhero land. Like this is what I'm going for visually.
Let's do an athletics test. You're going to get down one way or the other.
I am going to get down one way or the other.
And we'll say the quality of your success will probably dictate the outcome.
Okay. And now, since this is a skill check, I can spend a hope.
Yes. So that's
for bold, because this is
bold. Extremely bold. I believe you could do this. This makes sense. So you can get your 2d6s since you are inspired by your distinctive feature here. Who knew? Steven, does this make you feel good? Everyone rallying to Daggett?
I knew that they were just giving me a hard time, but deep down they really love me.
Yeah, well, I could still just choose to hit you. Like I have many options to attack.
That's true. And honestly, you're surrounded now, so you might as well take one down with you.
He's not going to get hit. Are you kidding? Okay. What do you got there, Melissa?
Okay, so luckily I rolled a Gandhi because everything else was a smattering of very, very, very low numbers. So it is just a regular roll success.
All right. So if it's just a regular success, I will say you're going to make it. You're going to swing maybe off and like kind of maybe do like using where you and Gilly are as something of a fulcrum. You're just going to kind of swing out, let go over top of Angmar and kind of stumble down behind. The rope will swing back on its own. You will kind of stumble a little bit, not quite have your perfect footing to be able to swing in the same round, but you are there and Angmar is quite literally surrounded.
This looked fantastic.
It did. Cool. It looked very good. If you had rolled like an extraordinary success, I was going to let you get an attack off. But you did still manage to get there. Okay. So then Daggett, you are in protection stance, but you're already knocked out. And we go to Gilly. Gilly, you are in rearward. What do you want to do?
So for flavor, I'm going to pull the rope back up just so that none of the orcs or anything can follow up and get me. And then I'm going to shoot at one of these other orcs that are close to Daggett as well. Okay,
sounds good. And remember, everyone here has increased defenses, so you need
these
2
are
higher.
2, right?
Yeah, you need 2 higher than your normal target number. Yes.
Cool. And do I still get 1 extra for my height?
I'm sorry, I lied. You need 4 higher for this one.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
The one who's in the doorway.
The one that you're shooting at, the one that you just targeted, I saw it on
Okay.
Foundry. Yeah, that's a +4.
Oh shit. Okay. I'm still going for it.
Yeah.
Do you need any audience dice?
Too late. I ripped it. Got a 10 on my 12s die, but no extra successes.
Okay. So
and
then
I did exceed the necessary.
okay. So it is a hit. It's a 10, which means it's potentially a piercing blow. I got to do a protection roll, and then hang on for your damage for a second. Just let me make sure he passes his protection roll.
Okay, it's just 4 damage.
And that's 7 + 4 is 11, + 5 is 16, 18, 19. What's your injury rating?
16.
Okay, so he does succeed, but you do 7 points. Is that what you said?
4.
4. I'm sorry. Okay,
Yeah.
So you've done 4. Now that one has actually taken damage already, but it's not dead yet. Okay, perfect. So we're going to assume then, since you all have charged in, that the rest of the NPCs, with the exception of Tharnow, are being used to essentially keep the others at bay. I am going to focus then my efforts on a few things. I think there's going to be... So I've got two of these Uruks, and I've got Angmar in the middle. I've got 3 targets, Tharnow and Daggett as well. I've got 5 attacks between them. So I'm just going to split them up, since I think because you've done so successfully in getting to Daggett's side, that I think it makes less sense for him now to just finish him off. So let's see, who do I want to attack first? All right, so Angmar is going to turn, and he's going to attack Aurenial. Sorry. But you are in defensive stance. So Angmar is going to, seeing you swing over top of him, he's going to turn around and try to get you as you're stumbling back up. And the thing is that he has a fell ability called Hatred, specifically for humans. So when fighting humans, all of this creature's rolls are favored. So including his attack roll that he's about to do here. So that might be the reason.
Okay.
So that's going to be 2 D12s. He's going to lose one of his attack die because of your protective stance. I will not burn hate, though. All right, here we go.
Okay.
All right, so I rolled a Gandhi, but I don't need it, obviously, or I don't have to use it since it's favored. So that's 15 to hit. That's not a good roll.
16 is my parry.
All right, so he swings at you, and at the last second, you get Sword of Spirits up, kind of deflects it ever so slightly. And then for his second attack, he's going to go after Tara, which makes perfect sense. You're both humans, and he hates humans. Okay.
Guy.
You, however, are an open, so he does get that die back. All right. Oh, dear. That's pretty good. All right, so that's going to go away. It's 12, 16, 21, 26 to hit.
Yeah, no, that hits.
Don't worry, I rolled terribly on my feet die, so it's not going to be a piercing blow. It will, however, be a lot of damage. It's going to be 21 points of damage, as I will do heavy blows.
Fall back.
Yeah, that very much takes me down.
So there is an ability called Knockback, which allows you to cut the damage in half, if that would help you, which means you would only take 10. And
That would help significantly.
So the only thing is that this is like, you basically get knocked back kind of underneath that second wooden floor, and you have to spend your next turn scrambling back into position. So you won't be able to attack next turn, but you can absolutely do it.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Okay. Then
my endurance then is down to 2.
Then, okay, you're still up though.
That's what matters.
Could have been a lot worse. Okay, so then Anglar's turn is up. I'm going to have these Uruks, I'm going to have them swing at Floy. So there's going to be 2 shots at Floy here. I will burn a hate on one of them because they do have plenty. Not plenty, but they have enough. as they are going to.
So sorry to interrupt, Jeff.
No,
Is there something I should be marking on my token to identify that I'm knockback or anything?
I don't think there's one. Just remember on your next turn that you essentially have to, for your main action, you have to kind of regain your footing. You'd still do it like a secondary or something. But
okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. First attack on Floy. That's a 10 on the feet die. That's 3 6s and another 6, but because I had 2 3s, so it doesn't really count. So it's going to be a piercing blow. So it's going to do that, an automatic piercing blow. So let's start there. Go ahead and roll a protection roll against injury rating 18, Floy.
All right. My protection is 4.
Okay.
And I can add my valor rating because of my mithril.
Indeed, you can.
Oh, I got a Gandhi. 1 6. Or 2 6s, actually. So it's an extraordinary success.
All right, sir. You are not wounded. However, you will, in fact, take a lot of damage as I will burn the 6s for heavy blows. So that's going to be 6, 12, 18, 23 points of damage against Floy.
Ooh, that's a lot. I will also knock back.
Okay, which means you also cannot attack, which means suddenly Aglor and his allies have knocked you all away, with the exception of Aurenial from protecting Daggett. Is Daggett going to be on the next turn? I don't know.
No.
The other Uruk in this tower will continue to attack Floy. This one is going to do the same. Okay. All right, that's not nearly as good a roll. It's 11. That is a 15 total. How's a 15 do for you, Floy?
You're muted.
Oh, it meets, so it hits me.
All right, it's only 5 points of damage this time, as it's just flat weapon damage.
Well, just 5 is enough to actually down me. I'm 0 endurance.
Oh my goodness. Floy has fallen.
No.
Okay.
Oh.
It's going to be a no dwarf party soon enough.
It's going to be a no anybody party.
No anything party.
Okay.
Gilly, fucking run.
I just want to point out, I gave Stephen the option to stat out Tharnow and play him because I thought it would help you guys, and he said no. I just want to throw it out there because if this is a TPK, it's Stephen's fault.
Stephen nursed himself and by extension the party. Take a drink.
I'm going to let one goblin take a shot at Gilly. The other one I'm going to say doesn't have a good enough angle, but I'm going to let one of those goblin archers take a shot at Gilly. They have no hate really left to spend, so I'm just going to roll this as is. 14. That's an 18. Ashley on Gilly is an 18
Oh,
good?
An 18 meets.
That meets. Yeah, it hits.
3 points of damage. 3 points of damage. All right. And then we'll say, I'm going to roll. I'm going to do the same thing I did when we used it otherwise. When we were doing the fight with the Oathbreaker dwarves, I'm going to roll a feat die to determine how the courtyard fight is stemming. So essentially what this means is that a Sauron is going to effectively kill one of your allies. A Gandalf will kill one of the enemies. Anything in between is just sort of like flavor sway. All right, so right now it certainly looks like things are not going in your way as I rolled a 4. New round. You have allies. You can always tap into them anytime you want. But new round, Tara has to spend it recovering.
Can I change my stance to defensive?
Absolutely, you can.
Okay.
Yes. So Floy is down. Daggett is down. Okay. So it's going to be up to Aurenial here. Aurenial?
All right. Aurenial's.
This turn really bad, like really fast.
You know, Jeff, and the most hurtful part is that you pretend to be a friend. Like, that's really the part that hurts.
You're like, this
Listen,
combat's so easy.
We TPK fast enough. We can dedicate more time to our Sean Bean, Liam Neeson discussion. So I'm very excited for that.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
So like
You have a ton, and by the way, I thank Aaron for some of that because I did actually burn some of the bits he sent. So Melissa, I think you're the first in melee because Tara is just going to regain her footing. and Floy and Daggett are down. So Auriniel, I think you're the first to go, and then Gilly will be second. But if you want to call other people in here, you certainly can.
Yeah, indeed. I think there's really just going to be sort of this kind of like war cry kind of a thing come from Auriniel.
How many do you want to pull on the inside?
3.
Okay. So Murdoch will come running.
And 2 of the scouts.
Okay.
And then I'm hoping that the other 2 will attempt to like barricade as best as they possibly can against
hold the line against. Okay.
Yeah.
As long as there's NPCs in here that can essentially like engage one of them, I won't coup de grace anybody. But you do have some allies in here now. So what do you want to do for your action?
I'm gonna attack him.
Okay. Are you tapping into Thar now?
Yes, I am.
All right. +1 d6. Aguilar has a parry of 6. There's that. I shouldn't be smiling so much. Why am I smiling so much? It's so weird.
Because
what did I say at the beginning of the session?
I noticed.
Muscles over here.
I'm going to spend 5 audience dice to make this favored.
Good.
Hell yes.
And I'm going to take 2 more.
Amazing.
So I'm rolling 66s and 2d12s. Okay.
What do we got? We're waiting with bated breath.
Nothing good.
Are you serious?
Nothing good.
Oh my God.
I got a 9. Is a 9 enough? No, because it's not.
You have you have to hit. So what's your total? Do you hit? Do you meet your target number?
Hold on. 9, 10.
Hold on. It's the most important piece of information.
12, 14, 16, 25.
Oh yeah. Plenty. That should be more than enough to hit. I think for you is your target number is a 13. So even with this parry, you would only need a 19. So 25 will hit. Do you have any extra 6s?
No.
And what are your... You do have a keen weapon, but you don't have a fell weapon. Oh, no. You do have a key weapon. You do have a key weapon. Keen weapon is piercing blow on 9+.
The bow is keen. Minozagar, I can't get to keen until I get another virtue.
Okay.
So Minozagar is grievous. So
you had damage. You had +1
to the damage.
Okay.
And this is not an undead, so it doesn't have the piercing stuff.
Aguilar has taken damage. I was teasing before. He has taken damage. He's not like untouched or anything.
With all of those resources spent, it's a grand total of 6 damage.
That's six endurance gone that he had moments ago. So it's progress. Okay, and we turn to Gilly as Tara is recovering her footing.
Yeah.
So Gilly, what do you want to do?
I'm shooting at Aguilar.
Okay, I want to remember that you
+6.
Okay. I'm clicking on this other because that's the one that you attacked before and that had already taken damage. I would tell you that one is probably the one that looks.
He hits twice, right?
Only Aguilar does.
Oh, okay.
All the other ones are just one. It's up to you.
Okay. Yeah. I'm. That's one less. Yeah. I'll shoot. I'll finish. I'll try and finish this guy.
Okay.
So, can I have? Do we have any audience dice left, Ma?
Yes, we do.
Can I have 2?
Yes.
I want 6s.
This is brutal. This is turn so fast. Like Floyd going down, it was like, what? Like that.
Okay. I got a 9 on my D10 or 12, or whatever it is.
Okay.
And then I have 2 6s, Jeff.
All right. If you were to do those as heavy blows, what's the total damage?
If they were heavy blows, it would be 12.
That is enough to take him out. So don't even worry about doing protection rolls and stuff. Let's just do heavy blows. he had 11 endurance left, so your 12 would take that one. And so this Uruk, who I have cleverly named Uruk number 1, is now down. Okay. All right. So you've taken someone out. Well done.
Hey.
Okay.
I'm still stressed.
You're
You
just
should.
gonna hang out at the
Fucking
top,
ulcers.
and you're just gonna be like,
Just sharpshooter Gilly.
Okay.
right?
All right. So Aglar and this other Uruk are inside. I'm going to say that Uruk number 2, who is dear friends with Uruk number 1, will turn his attention to one of these 3 additional reinforcements that Irinial brought in. And then Aglar has, I'm going to say, 3 targets to choose from between Tharnau, Irinial, and Terra. And so we'll see how he goes. He is going to swing at, I'm sorry, Maitre. He's going to swing.
Super okay.
I'm so sorry.
I'm in defensive if that makes any difference.
It does. It actually does. I have used some hate on him, so I don't really want to use too much. I do have the favor.
2 endurance. Maybe he'll miss. He missed me.
No, I mean, it's not. I mean, it's. I'm still rolling dice. I'm still rolling dice.
Not gonna miss.
Oh, goodness. Do I want to use? Nah. All right, here we go. Well, I did roll another Gandhi, so that goes away, which means I get a 3 on my feat die. Plus 4 is 7, plus 3 is 10, plus 2 is 12. So that's a 12 to hit on Terra as he turns around. I'm assuming 12 is no good. You probably
No,
have
parry
much better
16.
All right, so he turns and he swings at Terra, who's trying to scramble back into the fight, misses. Then he'll go after, let's see. He'll go after Tharnau with the second one. And I will also gain an extra die. And what I'm going to say is, if a Sauron comes up, Tharnau's dead. A Sauron did not come up. So instead, Tharnau just takes a horrible wound as he's cut into. But he's not dead. Okay. And I'm going to say again that one goblin that has a line of sight on Gilly is going to take a shot at Gilly. And continue to fire away. That's another Gandhi. Gandalf, go away. That's a 9, so that's no good. Okay. New round. Stances for our rangers. Terra and Irinial, where are we at?
Changing to open.
Okay. Open for Terra. Open for Irinial as well? Or is Irinial staying defensive?
I guess I gotta be bold.
Okay. So the 2 of you get to go. What do you want to do?
Ari, you want to go first, or?
Sure. I'm gonna continue to burn resources. So I'm gonna take 5 to make this favored. And I'm gonna take 2. Tharnau still up?
Tharnau is still up. So he did take a hit, but I didn't, like, a Sauron's going to kill him. So it wasn't a great roll, but it was enough. It would have been enough to hit. It was like a 17 on the attack roll. So he's still up, but you can use him.
Bam. All right. That is, let me do math here. 6, 12, 20, 31.
Well, that'll hit. So tell me, what kind of rolls do you got? Do you have any?
I have 1 extra d6.
Okay. And what did you roll on your feat die?
A 6.
Okay. So you just want to do heavy blow then?
Yeah. So strength is a 7, and then I get up. So it's a
7 plus
5 plus 1 plus 7.
So it's 13 total damage. I have good news for you, and I have bad news for you. The good news is if you have that you're going to go ahead and basically take him through his first thing. his first round of endurance. However, I'm going to enact his hideous toughness, which basically, so normally when you get reduced to 0 endurance like Floy and Daggett, you're out. But he has hideous toughness, and so instead of doing that, I'm going to say he's just going to take a piercing blow instead. So he takes a wound, and he's still alive, and he's back to full endurance. But what this does mean is that he can only attack once per round now, as opposed to twice. So, progress. Okay. Tara, what do you want to do?
I'm going to attack on my spear. Do I get any bonuses for flanking or anything?
I'm going to say it's a melee in here, but you guys, that is a good point. Melissa, roll an extra d6. You probably should have done that too. Just see if you roll a 6. Because I think I'll give you all, because you're kind of outnumbering him at this point.
It's a 1.
Okay, so like as long as it's not a 6, it's not going to change much. So Tara, yeah, take an extra d6.
Okay, and
we do
Mel,
still have
can I
extras
grab an
if you
audio
want it
size as well.
Yeah, and we have just enough if you also want to make it favored.
No,
We have 8, so you could take.
No, I'll save that for someone else. I'll not make it favored, but I will take 1 extra dice.
Okay.
Can I also spend a hope to add a d6?
I think since it's a combat proficiency roll, it's a no. We do the hope is only for skill checks.
Got it.
You can take 2 audience if you want.
No, that's okay. It was just a misunderstanding of the rules. That is a total of 24, with one of the 6s being 6.
Okay. Your target number was a 14 plus, even with his plus 6 to parry, you are still hitting. What did you roll for your feat die? Your D12?
That was a 3.
Okay. So then there's really you can't really do a wound here, but you can do a heavy blow if you want. Let me see. There's other things you can do as well. We shouldn't just automatically assume heavy blow. Because you have a sword, right? Or no, you're using a spear. So
the other thing is a fend off.
Yeah, so you can do a fend off, which essentially increases your parry if he attacks you by +3 on the next turn. So you can either I would say either use it for a heavy blow to do more damage, or use it to fend off. And since you're using a spear, your parry rating, so your target for him to hit, is going to be 3 higher next round than this round.
Okay, I'm gonna do more damage because I'm fold.
Right. Sounds great. So your strength.
That reminds me,
is
I would have
6.
actually done 1 more damage because heavy blow is strength rating plus another 1 if you're using a 2-handed weapon. I always forget about that part.
In that particular case, when you did damage, it wouldn't have had an impact because it brought him to 0, but good to know for the future. All right, so you got a 6 for your strength, Tara. A heavy blow is you do additional amount of damage equal to your strength, so you have a 6 plus your weapon, which does 5, so you do 11 damage to him. Okay.
One-handed or two-handed weapon?
Remind me, what is the injury that 18?
You need to get a piercing blow. So you need to roll a 10, or you need to roll a Gandalf on your feat die.
On the feat die. Okay, got it.
Or if you roll high enough, you can use the pierce. Like if you get extra successes on your roll, you can potentially spend bonus die that rolled 6s to increase like the feat die number. So that's why I asked you, what did you roll? Because if you're at like 8 or 9, it would have been useful to use. Otherwise, it's not. Okay.
Thank you.
A great spear is 2-handed, so that's another +1.
Okay.
Amazing. Thank you.
All right.
One of us should know my abilities.
Gilly, you're up. You look down. I'm just gonna set the scene for you, Gilly.
Why do you
look down.
Okay.
You see the beautiful adorned dwarf Floy on the ground. Humans are trying to defend him, but he has gone down. You can see his chest moving up and down. You see the beautiful braids and various jewelry decked around his beard hair, rising ever so subtly, but he's covered in blood. A few feet from him, you see the extremely unattractive dwarf Daggett, who has suffered many a wound to his face, broken noses, broken jaws. He too is down. Your dwarf friends are down.
Yeah.
You see Tara and Iriniel both looking very wounded, and they are trying with Thar now to stand toe-to-toe with Aglar. What would you like to do?
I'm going to try and hit Aglar. I need a 22 to hit.
Okay.
Mel, do we have enough for me to take 2 dice?
Yes, we do.
All
So
right.
leave us with 5.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Do I take them?
For favorite?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm doing that. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, Christ. Okay. Thank God I did, because I had a 2 and
Oh,
my
dear.
other one is an 8.
Okay.
The 8. And then I do have 2 6s.
2 6s. Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna
Is the
use one
total
of
over
them?
22?
So 12, 3, 24. Yeah, way over. I
Okay,
got,
so if
some
you're over,
4s.
so it's a hit. You have an 8 on your feet die that you're taking. Are you going to spend one of your 6s to move that up and make it a
Yeah.
piercing blow?
I want him to roll for an injury.
Okay. I am going to... I'll roll it in system so you all can see how badass this guy is. So I'm going to... All right. So I'm going to roll his armor. His protection roll here. What's my target?
16.
All right, I'll put 16 in there. I will burn another hate to give him an extra d6 just to be safe. Just to be safe. I'll let you all see what happens. 24. That is a great success. He is not wounded. He stays in the fight. But what is the total damage? As you can use the other one for heavy blow if you want.
He's taking 8 damage.
8 damage. The 3 of you are whittling him down. That is undoubtedly.
It's just, do we survive long enough to survive this?
That was a really, really good round. That was a fantastic round. Can you survive one more round, though? Griffin, that's very, very kind of you. Thank you to help me. Thank you for donating all those bits to help me kill the party. I really do appreciate it.
I don't think that's what that was for.
It wasn't specifically called out, so I'm assuming the Lollygaggers channel, you know. All right, I'm going to roll some dice for outside to see how this is going. And it is a Gandhi. So since it's a Gandhi, I'm going to get rid of one of these orcs in the courtyard. Okay. All right. And then my turn. So Aglar's still got the 3 targets. The Uruk will be focused on the 3 extra Murdoch and the 2 other scouts. I'll roll a d12 to see if that goes any particular way. It's just an 8, so it doesn't. No one dies. The goblin on the outside is going to attack Gilly. Let's get that out of the way. Okay. That's a 19 to hit.
That hits.
And I rolled a 9, and I have a 6, so I am going to go ahead and bump that to a piercing blow. So go ahead and roll a protection roll.
Okie dokie.
You're only going to take 3 damage, but the protection roll, target of 14.
15. That was way too close.
Oh my gosh, right on it. You bang on. Oh, did I say 15? I'm sorry, I meant 16. I'm kidding.
You said 14.
It was 14. I know. I'm just kidding.
Jeff,
okay.
you did get a complication in chat.
Thank you, Griffin.
We're
Thank you,
honest,
you.
so we'll tell you.
Well, if that's the case, I'm going to give Aglor an extra attack. No, I actually only get 1 attack with him, and I have 3 of you. I have Thar now, Iriniel, and Taraneth. I'm going to roll d6, 1 to 2. It's Thar now, 3 to 4. It's Iriniel, 5 to 6. It's Tara. It's going to be Iriniel. Okay, so he's going to turn to target Iriniel. What stance are you in, Iriniel? You an open?
That's a good question. What am I in?
I can look. You're an open. All right, so no differences. Okay. What do I want to reuse? Okay. All right, here we go. Since he's only got 1 attack, I'm going to burn some stuff. Let's do those 4. I'm going to burn my recently purchased complication to give him an extra die. And I got a feat die on this. I'm going all out to take out Aureliel again. Oh my god, so many freaking ones. Oh my god, I rolled a 12 Gandhi and a 1 on my feat die. So yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Let's see. I rolled a lot of die. Let's see. I still might get there. 10, 12, 14, 15 to hit.
16 parry.
I rolled so when I had 5 d6s in my pool and I had favor on the roll. I rolled 1 on my feat die, 2 1s, 2 5s, and a 2.
I think the game's just telling you that you need to be a player with the amount of Gandhis that you're rolling.
I roll so many 1s and 6s on these dice. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. All right, that's Aglar's turn. I'm gonna again. I already did the goblin attack, so I'm gonna roll. I already did my roll for the NPCs, so we're gonna go to a new round. Aglar only gets 1 attack now. Oh goodness. Okay. Tara and Aureliel, what stances are you in?
I am still in open.
Okay.
Staying in open.
All right. You don't want to try to finish him off. You don't want to be bold. I mean, I thought you two were bold, but no, it's fine.
I had the thought.
Yeah, so did
and this burning chest wound that I still have.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, both if you get hits off on him this round, it might take him, but that's fine. That's fine. Okay.
You know what?
Open
You baited
stance.
me into it.
Yeah, me too.
We're playing a
might
game.
Go down, but his lieutenants will turn around and just take you out. All right. He's in danger. He's in a danger zone right now. He doesn't have a ton of endurance. He just has very high parry in armor.
Okay, so
everything else.
Okay. Either order, whichever you want.
Go ahead, Eric. I'm just gonna attack my spear again.
Okay, so I am going to take 5 for favored. And then I've got mine. And then I've got Tharnau. And I'll take 1 more. So, Tara, there are still 7 left for you.
Sweet. I'm gonna need a GoPro.
All right, roll when you're ready. Oh no.
Okay. Well, I rolled favored, so I can ignore the Sauron that I rolled.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh my god. Okay.
But now I have to do math.
Oh gosh.
So 6.
We'll be back in a few minutes.
11, 12, 17, 22.
All right. Well, you needed a 19 because your strength target number is 13 plus his 6 is 19. So that is a hit. What's your feat die?
It's a 6.
All right.
And I got no extras.
All right. So it's flat damage of the weapon. So plus the 1 for it being superior grievous.
Right. So 6.
6 points of damage. It's not nothing, but it's not enough. As you manage to slash out at him, he's constantly shifting and moving, putting the shield up, blocking one. He's spitting both blood and saliva just kind of flies through as he's constantly whirling back and forth like a bulldog. His mouth is kind of hanging. You see things dripping down from it. He's bringing up the crooked axe every now and then and trying almost maybe a step too slow to parry when he doesn't have the shield in front of him. And so you're getting these cuts and these cuts and these cuts, and you're wearing him down.
Yeah. And I feel like Aureliel is kind of, she is still wounded while she's doing all of this. And so it's very much that sort of like I'm picturing almost like female tennis player, like grunt every time she's like swinging this sword, like she's not being quiet about this. And when she is still up and Ari just sort of looks over to Tara, like not much left.
Did you roll an extra d6 for outnumbering him?
No.
Roll an extra d6. And if it's a 6, we can modify. If it's not, it's fine.
It's 4.
Okay. Tara, you're up next.
Okay. So that can I how many audience dice do we have now?
So we have 8. So you
Okay.
could take favored and a couple.
Gilly, do you mind?
No, because you can take up to 7, I think, in a round.
Okay. So I'll take the favored and I'll take the extra audience dice.
Okay. He is, you can tell, he's a little slower to shift that shield, a little slower to swing. Sometimes when you kind of make the connection with his weapon, it's pushing further and further back, and you can see he's kind of starting to labor a bit as he stands over top of Daggett. So it's certainly within range. What do you got?
I got a 20 to hit.
That is exactly enough. You have a target number of 14 plus his parry.
I didn't know if exactly hits or doesn't it.
Would you roll on the feat die?
5.
Did you get any extra 6s on your?
Yes, actually, I got 1 6.
Okay, so do you want to use a heavy blow here to do extra damage?
Yes, please.
So you've got strength of 6 plus you're using a two-handed weapon, so 6. That's 12 points of damage total that you're going to do, which is a mighty blow. But unfortunately, it is not quite enough, as he is still standing. You may take me down, but I will take the dwarf with me. And he lifts like this axe up, and he's getting ready to swing it down onto Daggett. Gilly, you get to go before he does. I don't want to put pressure on you.
Let's just stress Ashley the fuck out. This is a great idea.
You've got one left. You've got one left for an extra D6.
Yeah, give it to me.
Take it.
Ashley, if I die because of you, I will be so...
You shut the fuck up.
I didn't say which dwarf I was taking out.
Okay. I got a Yandy and 1 6.
Okay. What is the total damage that you would do with using the Gandhi?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I do hit. Total damage with if I did the Gandhi and then like heavy blow, it would be 8.
Okay. So he turns and he says to Tara, I will take the dwarf with me. You see the tower shield just clatters to the ground. He puts 2 hands on this crooked axe, lifts it up, swing it down right at Daggett's neck. And then this tiny little like glint of light from the arrowhead just slips through the hole in the rooftop. And we hear this tiny little whistle. Catches him. And he collapses onto the ground as Aglar is down. As he had 4 endurance left after Tara's turn. 8 was enough to take him down.
Gilly.
I want to throw up. This is Ashley, not Gilly.
I'm going to say, for the sake of drama, that I don't think the other orcs are going to muster a great deal. I'm just going to roll a couple dice to see if they take out any people before they leave. But I think with Aglar being the main threat, him going down is enough. And someone will actually go down. So let me roll. See if it's a known or if it's not. No, it's not a known. All right, so just one of these scouts is going to get taken out before you're able to turn the tide. As the 2 of you on the ground, Tara and Iriniel, along with the help of Tharnow and Murdoch and these other scouts, are able to kind of quickly dispatch with the Orokin here. Gilly, you finally, now that Aglar is down, are able to turn your attention over this annoying pair of goblins that have been peppering you with arrows. Your arrows are much stronger than theirs, and you're able to kind of take them out one by one. And I'm going to say that the fight will be ended at this point as the main threat is down. Okay, so let's take stock for a moment as we look around.
I need an antacid.
As we look around, everything's fine. Everything's fine. As we look around, we see 2 dwarves down. I will say as as everyone rushes and kind of takes a look and takes stock, a couple of the scouts that were brought with Murdoch and Tharnow have been killed. Tharnow has taken a pretty severe wound himself, but he has not passed. Both Floy and Gilly, both Floy and Daggett, as you take a look at their health, at them. You don't see any life-threatening wounds. You just see like 1,000 small cuts and bruises, maybe a fractured finger or such here and there. Nothing that is probably going to take them out too long. And you realize they're still with you, and they're breathing strong. And so you recognize that they'll probably recover pretty quickly. So I'll turn to you all. What happens?
At that point, you guys see is Gilead obviously throws the rope over. She climbs down, and she'll rush over. Once she realizes that the dwarves are fine, like maybe they just have the concussion or whatever, she'll go to Thar now and next to Maitre, and so Tara and Auriniel, and be like, "Are you guys? Who needs to be treated?" She's gonna just see who needs to be treated first, and then go from there. While she's yelling at Murdoch to guard the doors, just so no further orcs.
I'm going to say you hear Murdoch like screaming and like shouting orders, and you can see that they're chasing some of these goblins and orcs that are trying to flee. And you can see Tharnau is like limping towards, and like Murdoch turns and looks at Tharnau. "Glory is mine, brother." And he turns and he chases out with his remaining scouts. "You linger behind with the other invalids." And off he goes. But mechanically, Tharnau could, flavor-wise could use a roll. But Tara has gotten wounded in this fight, and while the wound will go away quickly, if you pass a healing test, the wound will go away literally instantly. Because she, I think it was just like a day she had on her timer.
I did, yeah. It's 1 day wound.
Yeah, and we'll say if you make the heal test, I'll say you managed to stitch it up or bind it up pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, girl, you're good. Because I roll 4, 5, 6 d6s, and it's favored. You're solid.
Sweet. Do I get any endurance back for that? How does that work?
It's
go ahead.
I don't believe so.
I don't think you get endurance back that way. It's only if you were down do you get like a 1 extra. Still only get like.
So I just remove the wounded condition. Is that
exactly?
Right?
Yeah, because it just removes. I can shave off days that you would require healing.
Mm-hmm.
Can Auriniel try to get Floy and Daggett up?
Sure. If you want to get them up a touch early, that's fine.
I'll roll for Thar now, Jeff.
Okay.
While they're doing that, are there any bodies of these goblins that Tara can go investigate?
Yeah, there are several. There are several bodies of goblins, some of these orcs. Remember that the goblins just sort of look like normal goblins, but you notice that a lot of these orcs were kind of standing a little taller. They were less kind of
orcs. I misspoke. I'm sorry. I meant the orcs. The ones that look like they oughtn't.
Yes, they just look just a little bit more sturdy, a little bit more organized, and a little bit more better equipped, I should say. But yeah, you're able to investigate them. What are you looking for?
Really, I'm just looking for what elements are different than what I would typically expect.
So, I would say you would notice first their equipment is far better than any you have encountered. This stuff looks to be well made. You could potentially roll a craft test, or somebody else could, to try to learn some more specifics, but just looking at it, you can tell that normally, the orcs are these black bladed weapons, these cruel hilts. None of them look like the type of weapon that any human or elf or dwarf would possibly wield. In this case, they actually look pretty well done. When you start to pull back some of their helms and look at their faces, you notice that they're taller, they're muscular. And you can tell that some of them that normally have those kind of bulging, protruding like tusks and things coming up, don't really have them anymore. They have human features here and there on the foreheads and on the eyes and such here and there. They don't necessarily have the kind of feral quality that the goblin. When you kind of go over to the goblins, which are these scrawnier, hunched over versions. With very noticeably pointed ears and the faces that kind of look like feral creatures. The orcs themselves, a little different. Very curious.
Is there? One of my distinctive features is shadow lore. What?
Yeah.
Does that come into play at all here to get me any more information than what you've already shared?
So,
Did you
so the
pick
shadow-
which one did you pick for your shadow lore?
I didn't pick anything specific. Actually, I didn't.
It's a
memorize
distinctive feature. So it's a distinctive feature that's granted to rangers specifically. So you recognize that there is a hidden thread unifying most of what is malicious, dark, and terrible in Middle Earth, and that the thread is thickening year after year. A quality shared by the wise of the land. The truth behind this knowledge is becoming clear as time passes. So just like any distinctive feature, if you were to tap into that with a roll, so if you want to do like a lore test and you wanted to tap into it, you could spend a hope and get extra dice on the roll. If you wanted to do like a lore test or some other kind of test, that if you're looking to roll a check here, that's how it would come
I
into
think
play.
the lore, but if you let me do a lore check, I'd like to.
Absolutely. So go ahead and roll that lore test. Take a +1 die since you're or it's actually +2 since it is a distinctive feature. So you can take. So you're rolling lore +2 bonus dice.
I was confusing that with enemy lore, which is the champion one, and that's where you have to pick the enemy.
Stephen corrected
My
in
bad.
chat. It's a ward and distinctive feature, not a ranger.
That's a 28 total.
You have any extra 6s popping up? Okay. So I would say you would kind of know that there are foul places in the earth, in Middle Earth, Mordor, Angmar, of late Gundabad, other places as well, where whether it's sorcerers or whether it's just evil men, evil folk, maybe off to the south as well, where strange experiments are sometimes done, where breeding can sometimes happen in such a way in which over time they're trying to refine orcs to be stronger or fitter, or this is sort of this horrible experimentation that can sometimes be done. These look like a product of that. And I would say you also, amongst your search, and this is just for searching, you also notice that a lot of them have like this like kind of white slash. It almost looks like a hand slash down the chest, not particularly clean.
No.
And it's making like a cross.
So for a little bit of clarification, so Aurenial went to help Daggett first because he was the first one that went down, and that was a great success. Daggett next went to Floy to try to assist him and rolled a sorry and was not successful.
You rolled a sorry while trying to help Daggett? Is that right?
Trying to help Floy.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel like we know what happens, right?
Just nothing
Aurenial,
happens.
you bend down to try to help him, but you trip. Your knife slides smoothly into his throat, and Long can make a new character. No, what I'll say is just when you bend down to help him, I'm just going to say he's going to be out longer with Daggett, and plus I'm going to obviously track the Saurons. But I'll say Daggett, you're able to come to pretty quickly. You look around, you see Aglor fallen, you see Floy fallen, you see Aurenial and Terra wounded. You see a couple of these scouts are dead. Others are missing. Other bodies of orcs and goblins are around, but not nearly as many as you fought, presuming some of them might have fled. That is what you see when you look around, and you feel sore all over.
What did I kill him?
And I'd like to think that this is why Aurenial's attempt to help Floy didn't go very well, because Daggett got up and was like running his mouth.
I feel like that's the moment where like Aurenial and Gilly just like turn and look at each other. Like, really?
Exactly.
So
Someone needs to take the head off that one. We did promise to bring it back.
So over time, as you all are recovering and healing, you will hear the sounds of footsteps. The fog is still heavy. The rain is still heavy. Maybe for a moment you get a little nervous, but soon you see it is Murdoch once more. It is a couple of the scouts that ran off with him. They've taken trophies. from some they caught, and they look at the rest of you, and you can see Murdoch is kind of covered in blood. He's got this grin, this like sort of evil grin on his face, just like, shit eating in some ways. And he looks down as you go towards to sort of remove the head of Aglor, and he objects, and he's like, I am the standing son of Gurnau. I should get this.
This is my kill.
He looks down at you, Hobbit. Your friends would be dead if me and mine did not charge in here. And by charging in here, we left our other allies undefended in the courtyard. Do you see them? And he points to like the 2 scouts who died. Do you see them? They would not be dead. Your foolish dwarves knew how to properly charge in upon a choke point. No, Hobbit, you might have scored the final scratch. But this fight could have gone so much more smoothly if someone here had a bit of acumen about them.
And Aurelial will step in front of him.
So does
Gilly
Sarah.
is her fellowship focus.
Mm-hmm.
You and your family and all of you had plenty of opportunity to take care of this threat, and you failed. You will back off. This is her kill.
Kind
Tara
of cocks
doesn't
his head
say
at you.
anything, but just kind of like very loudly puts her spear down beside her, like noisily.
Aurelial, roll. What do you want to do? Like an awe? It sounds like you're intimidating. And take a bonus die from Tara as you step up into his face.
Okay, so
I think awe makes sense here, as you're really trying to get to him.
yeah, so awe is favored with 1, and then I've got
Oh yes.
Tara, and then I'm going to spend a hope because I'm bold. So I think that makes sense. So, okay. It's a regular success.
He looks to you. He looks to Tara. He withers ever so slightly. Steps back, but then sort of regains it. Fine. Let me take your trophy. We have taken ours. But my father will know the truth of what happened here. The full truth. And then you hear like Tharnau like stand up, step behind Tara and Arinio, and you can see that Gilly has finished bandaging this terrible wound. And he just looks his brother dead in the eye and he says, yes, he will. And like Murdoch just sneers and leaves the tower, goes back out into the courtyard and starts like preparing the scouts' bodies for travel. You can see he's pulling out these splintered woods and stuff to kind of make things to sort of drag the bodies back with him.
While that was happening, could I have done something?
Oh, of course. Yeah. What do you want to do?
Daggett would have just stood up and taken Block Fong and just chopped off Aglor's head without even waiting for Murdoch to turn and leave.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would have grabbed the head and tossed it at Gilly. Fine work. Massive orc head comes flying at you.
Yeah.
As she probably catches it, she probably like turns around and like you just feel as Gilly bumps against the back of Aurelial and Tara.
Yeah.
Like back.
Tara
Murdoch
does
looks-
not turn.
Murdoch looks at
She is-
Daggett
she
for a
is
second.
unbreaking eye contact with Murdoch.
He's going to look at Daggett and he's going to say, as he's leaving, as he's retreating, as you say, fine work. Coming from the dwarf, could not keep his eyes open during the fight. I'm sure you are well rested and can help us carry our compatriots back to Tharbad.
Don't worry, I will carry my weight.
And then he continues to go back, like I said, to the courtyard and sort of tend to his people. Tharnell puts a hand on your shoulder, Daggett, and he just says, I apologize for my brother. Your valor will be spoken of truly to my father. He will know the truth here. And that was a fine shot, Gilly. Indeed it was. If not for you, for the bravery, these rangers of the north, this day could have gone far worse. We've lost some of our own, yes, but you have probably saved countless others that would have been sent after this Aglor, only to die at their hand. I imagine with the snake's head taken off, those other orcs and goblins that are scattered about the countryside will be a bit easier to round up. Thank you.
When Tharnell put his hand on me, Daggett would violently shove it away and just glower at him. Why is it, whenever I'm around you, I wake up with a splitting headache? And then I give him a smile and would go for the forearm clasp.
And he almost looks like he's taken aback. And then he realizes the jest. And you see him smile and kind of laugh grimly, clasp your forearm. And we'll say at this point is when Floy, your eyes start to come to. You can see the carnage.
I shoot straight up. Yeah, I guess no! As that's the last thing I remembered happening. My eyes darted around the room. Oh, you all right?
I am fine. I thought I was the one that killed him, but they told me that Gilly did.
Oh, Daggett's. Agler's no more. We've done it.
We've done it. Dwarven courage saves the day once again.
As always. For our class.
Tharnell looks over to everybody.
Not been able to join in what should be a jovial moment. Having sort of come back from inspecting various orc bodies, and hearing Tharnell say that now, like, the remainder should be easier, and hearing Floyd say that, it's a good thing we can guard him, and like, I wish this was it, but I worry that it is not, and it's only the beginning of something larger. There is a growing presence of breeding and experimentation in ways that I do not know how to speak about, but these orcs are beyond just orcs, and they speak to something larger in their existence. They all even have a unifying war paint symbol on their chest. This is not some rowdy band of marauders that needed to be taken care of to save the countryside. This is likely a signifier of a war to come. I am sorry. I know this should be a moment of joy, and certainly I am grateful to you, Gilly, and I am joyful indeed that we are all safe and we're able to show our mettle against the servants of the shadow today. But I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there it is. And she gives a slightly apologetic smile.
And Gilly nods, and she's like, the darkness is growing. We've been aware of that for a while now, and we're doing our best to fight against it, and that's all you can do is fight. But moments like this, there's hope. We lived. And I hope that we continue to live further days. So don't let the knowledge of the darkness get you down, for there is hope. And we must remember that and embrace it when we can.
You're right, of course, Kelly. I'm glad you got your trophy.
I don't know if I can carry this, to be honest.
So, everybody, not everybody, I'm sorry. Floy, Gilly, and Aurinial. You can roll either a scan or a lore. Either one of those will do.
I'll do a scan.
I'll do a
As I'm
lore.
favored.
And give me like the total successes amongst all of you. So, like an instant
One
skill
Gandy.
endeavor. Okay.
2
okay.
Gandies.
Wait a second.
Raise
You
No,
rolled
I mean,
two-
his Gandy was the first
Okay.
Gandy, and my Gandy was the second
Okay.
Gandy.
I was gonna say, is this how Melissa's cheating? She's inverting. She rolls 1d6 and all of the other pips or d12s.
it.
What do
I
you
got 3
Gilly?
successes for lore.
3 successes. Okay, that's more than enough. Okay, so between the three of you, you have 5 successes and multiple candies. So as we'll say, over the course of the next few, maybe an hour or 2 hours, whatever it is, as your people are kind of piecing together like stretchers to bring back the bodies of those who were lost. Also, kind of going through the bodies of these orcs, searching the keep as well to make sure there are no others hiding, all that kind of stuff. Kind of doing your due diligence. Floy, Gilly, and Aurinial. You notice some curious things on the bodies, especially once Tara kind of points out to a few things here and there. And Daggett, some of this you would understand as well, but not as much as the other 3. So, Floy, you most certainly notice a very familiar maker's mark that you've seen now. Daggett, you would notice it as well. It's different. It's definitely different than the way that Block Fong is actually demonstrating it, and Floyd's your mithril armor as well. But the two of you would recognize sort of like an inherited symbol, right? Like the idea of like a master smith, apprentice smith, master smith, apprentice smith, like this sort of long line, or potentially a tutelage kind of happening, where you think some of the things that are being crafted almost feel like they're being crafted within a certain school of smithing. And it all kind of seems to stem from that same kind of symbol, Floy, that you have on your mithril, probably the oldest item of all. As you were told by the elves of Forlon, that your mithril is considerably old, possibly going back as far as the founding, like when mithril was first discovered. That's how old it is. Daggett, your Block Fong weapon is not as old, but it is nonetheless very old as well. But you can definitely see over time, like this symbol is slightly changing, suggesting that like this dark art of smithing is being passed down generation to the generation, age to age. The second thing you notice, and I'll give this one to Gilly and Aurinial then, it's actually kind of alarming as you notice on some of the bodies of these orcs, not all of them, but some of them, Aglar, and then some of the others as well, you notice brands on their body. In addition to that swipe on some of them, many of them have brands. And at first it looks, it looks painful and terrifying, once like you kind of strip back some of that heavy armor they have. But the two of you put your heads together, maybe you consult Floy, and you recognize some of them. And I would say it takes a while as you start maybe, Gilly, flipping back through your journals, whichever ones you bring, and you realize that you've seen some of these brands before. And you stop on a page in your notebook, Gilly, that is a sketch drawing of the door to Othran Gul. If you recall, there are all those carved images that you could never really deduce. You're not sure what it said. It was some sort of sigil, slightly understood it, and then you kind of tried to how to put some blood into it, but you're seeing very similar imagery from before. And then coupled with what you've heard from Tara about this kind of strange experimentation and what you all saw within the depths of that place, starting to probably formulate something in your mind at this point. So that's what you all would see as you start digging through it.
The smith makes. It confirms the betrayal of our ancestors. It bleeds through the land.
We are so far from Angmar, but The marks. Gilly, they are the same marks that you recorded.
This is worse than I anticipated.
We've tarried long enough. It seems we need to move back north again and continue to see what we can gather with us.
You're right. Let's head back to town. Praise this victory. And see where we go next.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll say that the return is not nearly as complicated as the arrival, as you were searching and going through these circuitous caverns. It gets late in the day. You're going to end up having to camp out one night, but we won't go too far into it. We'll say you camp out one night and then eventually return as you traveled several miles away from Tharbad, as you've crisscrossed the subterranean tunnels and traversed some hills here and there. But you make it back sometime around midday the following day. So you've been gone. This has basically been like a 3-day jaunt that you've been kind of working with here. And you were gone for 3 days and you kind of return on the 4th. And when you come back, you are stopped momentarily at the southern causeway, coming in, kind of rising up above the land, the marshy land. It is a cloudy day, but it is not raining. The guards don't give you any trouble with Tharnal's rules this time, because you have both Murdoch, who has been utterly quiet and not talking to you, and a couple of his scouts as well. They kind of camp within sight of you, but at like a different campfire. They haven't really interacted at all. Even Murdoch and Tharnal haven't really spoken. Tharnal has kind of spent more of his time with you all than he has with his brother. You're eventually let back into the town. When the guards at the causeway at the guardhouse see Aguilar's head, there's like kind of cheers and joy, and once more you can see kind of Murdoch, like this dark look comes over as he sees like you and Tharnal kind of getting the praise, but he nonetheless keeps it to himself. So we'll say it's midday. You're back in Tharbad. You have 2 of the sons of Tharbad with you, so you have the run of the place. What would you all look to do at this point?
Go straight back for an audience with their father.
Yeah, we
Okay.
completed
Wants
the
to
task.
get the dwarves free. Like,
Yeah, were the
First one to
pillars
tell the
on the
story
way?
gets the credit.
They removed. Remember, like part of the deal was that with your first, which you did with the wargs, he took them out of the pillories.
The pillory.
And
Right, so I was wondering if they're like on the way, we could see that they're empty now.
Yes, you could do that. Yes, while you're waiting for one of the for a ferry to come and get you across the river, you'll go by and you will see that they are not empty, but they are not filled with your dwarven friends. They are filled with other rule breakers, but not your friends. And like Tharnal will look to you as you do this and kind of look somewhat upset. Like, did you not trust my word that I would take care of this for you?
I was only curious what criminals were held in there.
He raises an eye. But you can tell that he was a little bit, that bothered him a bit, actually. He's a very honorable man in some ways, and so that kind of bothered him a bit. But he lets it go. Eventually, you'll get your ferry across the river, across the Grey Flood. And again, without any trouble, with 2 sons of Gurnau in tow, you make it into the Red Palace. You get your audience with Gurnau.
Before we reach the palace, can Tara have had a very short, quiet word with Tharnal after he visibly had that reaction
Sure.
of Floyd?
I'll say that like just after that, you were still waiting for the ferry, and so it's really just lingering around by the river's edge, waiting for the ferry to return. So yeah, you probably have a little bit of time.
Okay. So making sure that nobody else in the party hears and it's a discreet conversation. He's simply worried about his kinfolk. It was nothing to do with your honor or word.
He nods at this. It is true, but I tended to it myself. I told him as such. If he cannot trust my word, then... You see, it just kind of trails off at that. If you vouch for him, then I shall forgive him a very minor trespass. Perhaps I have not... Perhaps I have judged them too harshly and not judged myself harshly enough. Perhaps my name, my honor, is not esteemed enough to warrant such trust. He kind of gets lost. You get him it kind of starts retreating inwards a bit. You can tell he's kind of almost getting morose as he's thinking about him in some ways.
Not you. They're anybody is concerned about. And with that, seeing the fairy come, but it is your counsel to keep, obviously. And she just gives his arm a gentle squeeze and walks away.
And so he does, and others who might have been super observant might have noticed this. His other arm kind of reaches up, almost as if to kind of grab Tara's hand, but then kind of pulls it away at the last second. And Tara goes and boards the fairy. He lingers for a moment, kind of looking down his arm, turns, and then joins the fairy. So you guys get across. You go up the steps. Isildur, Elendil's statues flanking your way up. You stand in the hall of Master Gurnow. You can see the Lady Stock is nearby. As you come in, you can see he stands up. He sees the terribly bandaged, wounded Tharnau kind of coming in, and you can see trailing behind is Murdoch, and Tharnau is the first to speak. Master, Father, the task is done. May I present to you, Slayer of Aglor the Unbroken, the sharp-eyed.
Daggett and Floy step forward, but then split apart as Gilly walks in between them. And
he kind of looks down, didn't realize that we had rehearsed this. Well, yes. The sharp-eyed Gilly Kettlegrass. And then he looks towards his mother, of Bree. And she, you can tell she has sort of an ashamed look on her face. And then Gilly, you step up.
And I presume we had some sort of sack or something that we've carried this in. I do believe you said you did want his head. Did you still actually want this, sir?
He looks down at you.
Yes, of course I do. Why wouldn't I? I'll get someone down on the Middle Island to make a far wonderful... Yes,
it could be a bust.
Dip it into some ceramics of some kind, perhaps we could make. Yes, I'm sure we could find something. Yes, indeed. You, little one, I look around in this hall and I see such powerful warriors, rangers of the north, my own sons, and 2 dwarves of the Blue Mountains, and it was...
He kind of hesitates as if he almost forgot the name.
A hobbit of Bree.
So do the enemies. Mm-hmm. They look at us, they see fierce warriors, and they pay no attention to Gilly.
Considers that for a moment.
It's the power of remaining unseen, sir.
Indeed it is.
Both of your sons are very brave. I do have to commend them both for their bravery.
You hear a little bit of a cleared throat behind you. It is not Tharnau, but is Murdoch, who again is retreated into the back. And he says to you, he's like,
indeed. Well, that might be so. But they had months to take care of this themselves, and they did not. I think everyone in here knows that if it was not For your fellowship. This creature, and he kind of holds it up at this point if you handed it over, this creature would still be menacing the southern hills. I thank you, Madam Hobbit, Mr. Dwarves, Rangers of the North, my friend Tara. We made a deal, and I am a man of my word. When you are ready, I shall have... Well, Thar, now, if you think you are up for it, you can take them to... And he kind of rattles off the name, like an address or the name of a home. Where their dwarven friends are being held, they are free to go, free of charges, free of contract. But I trust my word, the leniency I've shown here will aid in any future endeavors with your kin, yes?
I shall put the word in.
Well, it's time for celebration. Clean yourselves up and return in the eve. We shall have a party. Food, wine, the greatest of ale from our middle island. Yes?
Huzzah!
Huzzah,
Tara
indeed.
breaks into a big grin. First one in a while.
Okay.
Yeah, Gilly gives a very large bow. Like,
And then Chewbacca in the back goes, "Wah." Oh, that's wrong. So he gets stiffed. He doesn't get a medal. Okay, so at this point, unless there's anything else you wanted to do in the company of Master Gur now, you can go find your friends Thorvum and Thebe, who when you find them, they're in good condition. There's still some achiness to their bones and muscles, and there's some fading wear and tear on their wrists and on their necks, but they are in good condition. They have food, they have drink, they are bored, and when the door opens up, their faces go bright as they see Floy come through, Gilly, Irinial, old friends, Daggett and Tara, new friends. Well, it's about time, cousin. I thought we'd be in here all day.
We've done it.
Have you now?
Another orc leader slain.
mm-hmm.
One more for the hearth, is it? Which one of you took it out this time? Was it you, Floy? You, Daggett? Perhaps one of these rangers?
And then you hear Thebe speak up, and she doesn't speak very often.
I think it was the Hobbit. You can see it in her face. Look at her, all proud. Yes, go ahead. Be honest. Which one of it was you?
Yeah. And Gilly just kind of puffs up a little bit.
And she looks over towards her brother, like, you owe me now.
And when we get our things back, I'll pay you. They didn't give me any of my money back, so I'll pay it when the time is due. We had a little wager on which one of you would strike the killing blow.
Which was your wager?
Well, Floy, of course. No disrespect, Daggett. I have seen Floy in action, and he is a fierce warrior.
I would not recommend anybody bets against Gilly, from what I have come to know of her.
That is true.
That's who I put my money on. She's the smart one. The rest of them, they just bumble in and swing weapons. She lets them run in, stays in the back safely, uses height, advantages, all that sort of thing.
That's
just about muscles.
Yeah, that's...
It's about brains as much as it's about muscle.
That Gilly and I were the tip of the spear. We led the charge.
That is true. Daggett and I, we coordinated. There were these archers up on the building. We climbed 30 feet up and we pulled them down by their feet and they fell to their deaths.
Oh, really? And she's talking probably more than you've ever seen her talk. And how many did you take out there, Mr. Daggett? And she's kind of appraising you at this point with a very interested eye.
it's not about numbers as much as I was able to buy the rest of the group time to finish off the horde while I kept Aglor busy.
You
He
didn't
actually-
take any of them out, did you?
He bravely went in and took quite a beating while the rest of us made our way through the crowd that was there. It was...
I killed at least one, and I blacked out for a bit where I'm sure I killed at least 3 more.
She looks around to see if that's accurate. Do any of you try to support Daggett in these wild claims?
I mean, there was nodding when he said he probably killed at least one, and then when he claimed to kill things after he
The dog tilt head
went out.
Tara is
Like,
interestedly looking around at the
Gilly-
surroundings.
Gilly steps up and she goes, maybe it's not the kill count that matters, but his performance. Well,
That's what
that
I was
is
saying.
Admirable.
I
And
didn't
then
get to see any of it. I was outside.
Gilly winks like this one of those.
Eh. She kind of looks like she's appraising your face. Eh. Well, I guess. Oh, well. Well, come, mate. They've been giving us food and drink. You might as well.
Yes, you're free dwarves now too. The contracts are no more.
And like at that, they look at each other and you can see the sigh of relief. It's about time. This place was a massive disappointment. No disrespect. And he looks up as like Tharnow's in the doorway when he says that. This is not what we signed up for. So I'll say at this point, you all share a drink. You have your fun. Where do we go from here? What do you guys want to do next?
I mean, obviously, we have to spend our last night in the inn because we can't go without leaving.
All right,
our,
Gilly invites Titus to the party. He shall be my escort.
Sure. So he comes, he's there, and he's very excited to see you, and he's still very nervous because the last time he saw you, you nearly died, or at least not necessarily the last time, but the last time he was on screen, you nearly died. So he's very excited. He's like,
You got the kill. You killed him right away. 1 shot, 1 kill. None of them did anything. It was just you. When you tell the story later, make sure that's what you say. Don't give anyone else credit. It was just you. It's a better story that way. You got me?
Oh, okay. I mean, I do like to, for prosperity's sake, I do have it documented. So, I
Burn
did
it.
take out more than one.
You don't want any evidence. You just want to say it was you did it all. Why, all your friends were falling down, left and right, ineffectual. Everyone dying, looking like they were about to fall. You stepped up and you fired your arrow. That's what you're going to do. And if anyone says anything different, you let me know, and I'll smash their head into tiny little bits.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Thank you. I appreciate the support. And I imagine Gilly's, like, if they ever have, like, a dancing phase, like, of the dinner,
okay.
Gilly will dance with Titus.
It's not the most organized
there is
thing in the world.
now.
Probably maybe a buffet table and dancing. There's like, there's someone playing some modest tunes
Yeah,
and such.
but, like, after Gilly's gotten into her cups a little bit, that's when Gilly really wants to dance.
Mhm.
So she grabs Titus. At one point, she grabs Aurenial. She's
The
just
slow
making
song
her
comes
rounds.
on as you and Titus go on the dance floor, and it's just like a slow waltz at this point.
They're just kind of like swaying back
You're
and
like-
forth.
You're like, you got your giant hobbit feet on his giant whatever heck he is boots and stuff as you're just moving about. Okay, all right. So we'll say there's no catch. There's no catch. Everything goes smoothly throughout the night. You are given great thanks by Master Gurnow, by Tharnow. Murdoch is nowhere to be found. He does not attend. Much to the disappointment and frustration of his brother, his mother, and his father. Lady Stock keeps her distance from Terra and Aurenial, but does, at the very least, congratulate Gilly on a well shot arrow. But she kind of stays away. She drinks, she eats, but eventually she retires early. The children come out, all of the children of his various other sons and some of the other guards and such. And so it becomes this big raucous event. Dogs are starting to come in as well. And so it's just this sloppy, horrible fest. There's food on the ground at this point. It is everything that Lady Stock can't stand. And that's at that point when she retires. We'll say that morning will come. Some of you maybe made it back to the Bridge Inn. Some of you wake up sprawled over top of the buffet table, still in the Red Palace. Others crawled underneath it. In various places, different degrees of hangover. But you all have free Thorvum and Thebe. You've earned the respect of Master Gurnow. So I would say, with that in mind, does any planning happen now for the next phase of your journeys?
Yeah,
Where do we go next?
With Tara before they leave, if that's right.
you guys
Of course.
better have danced
You want
at our
it?
dinner
Do you want
party.
it? Do you want it at the actual banquet, or do you want?
Yes.
We want it.
Okay. So he's
Yes.
just sitting there drinking every so often, kind of keeping to himself, but he's not like heavily drinking. He's sipping here and there, and he looks very reflective at this point. But yeah.
So Tara will go up to him when she sees that he's mostly by himself,
Mhm.
and not interrupt when anyone's around. May I sit with you a minute?
Of course. And he does the classic kind of getting up like halfway and like
And
Kinda-
she kind of waves.
he looks
him
really awkward in doing it. Yeah, he
just
looks
to
super
nod.
awkward in doing it. And then he sits back down like a little too heavily. So you can hear the screech of the chair. And a few of you that are still in there, you look over, you can kind of see the screech of the chair and the two of them sitting, but then you go back to your business. What is it I can do for you, Tara?
Thank you for vouching for us with Master Gurnow. I know that everyone thinks it is easy with him, but it never is. I know that.
Credit where credit is due. Your friends were very helpful to the people of Tharbad, and they've taken out not one but
Sorry,
two.
I'm like distracted by Ashley.
If you thought you had any
Sorry,
privacy,
I'm just excited.
I love it. I'm sorry,
That's
Jeff.
fine.
I'm sorry. We're all like collectively ruining your emotionality. I'm sorry. Okay.
He picks up a plate and he hurls it across the room.
Am I not important enough to talk to? Well, fine, I am leaving.
And he runs off. Takes a dog with him.
You just see Gilly's perm above the table.
Like there's a giant cooked turkey, and you just see like suddenly something slides out from behind it, and there's like Gilly's face looking across the table.
Love him.
Sorry, Jeff.
Oh no, it's fine. But yeah, he just says
They were very useful. They were heroes of Tharbad as far as I'm concerned. They are an easy group to defend. And we are indebted to them for quite some time.
I agree. They are. And she kind of looks over to them, and eyes linger on all of them. They are unexpected in a lot of ways. And I need to leave with them.
you see like kind of
You need to leave with them. If it is Murdoch that is a problem, I can assure you,
It is.
he is.
It is not.
My
It is.
my mother is in fact coming around to you as well as
That is surprising. And
my father sings your praises in private, though do not tell him I said that to you, of course. He would be most distraught. You don't need to leave with them.
she at this kind of reaches across and holds his hand.
He kind of looks
And-
down at his hand again, and he also kind of squeezes it a little bit, so you can kind of feel him kind of returning the gesture.
There's nothing here that is making me leave.
Is there
And
nothing here
if
that's...
I could stay, I would. I think whatever is left of the shadow, or at least for right now, I don't think you will not be able to manage without me. There's a spreading of darkness in the world, and my purpose has always been to try and curb it. And I was here because I saw the need of your people. And I'll be I'll be honest, you are one of the reasons I stayed for as long as I did. But it is time for me to go.
Will you return?
I don't know. May I call on you if the opportunity presents itself?
You must. There will be a place for you here, always.
Okay. And she gives him a sort of sad smile, and looks down at her casa. There's no reason for us to not celebrate our victory. Gilly was right. This is the time for joy and hope.
And you see, like, he's been being kind of morose a little bit, but at that point, he like kind of exhales a bit as he realizes like something has turned. He reaches across, he grabs this this pitcher, and he like these two goblets, he kind of pulls them over, empties them out over his shoulder. Who knows what was in them? And he just pours kind of 2 glasses of some kind of wine, slides one over, holds it up. To hope.
To hope.
So we'll say with that, we fade on that scene. Did anybody else wanted to do anything before we fast forward ahead?
Not until the next morning.
Okay. If that's the case, then we will move to the next morning. Everyone's scattered in different places. And some are made it, like I said, some made it back to the bridge inn, some did not. Maybe someone fell asleep in the middle of the street, who knows? Climbed up into the cradling arms of the Elendil statue, who knows? But everyone's a little scattered and a little hungover. What do you want to do, Floy?
Yeah, as the festivities are closing down, everyone's trying to clean up and get back to post to duty. As we're gathering other things, discussing what we want to do next. I'd like to take whoever wants to come with me, drop by the barracks, have a chat with if Tharnau is available.
Sure. In the morning, you'll get him. He'll probably be late morning, I would imagine. He will be a little disheveled and not quite himself. He probably hit the ale or the wine pretty hard last night for whatever reason. And
Master Floy, what is it I can do for you?
It's a bit early, but I've come to praise your bravery. But we're not going to linger any longer, even though the shadow is slain here. We must keep moving.
Taraneth said something of this last night. Yes.
But as we continue, your crew, your squad, your guard, we need people for the fight up north. And this is an open invitation. You can follow on our trail, but there's a larger darkness up ahead. You have Murdoch, you have brothers. The orcs here are slain. They're disbanded. He can take care of it. But you can join us in a greater fight.
You say north. The Breedlands?
Even
troubles
further.
befall them. Further?
Bree is fine for
Lonely.
now. But there's a darkness encroaching.
Be
From
plain,
Angmar.
Master Dwarf. Angmar. That is a name I have heard only from old Agna at the library. That is an intriguing offer.
It's a name that might come up more often.
I should certainly hope it does not.
But when it does, I'll sort of do crude maps, drawings, and the trails like you can follow. If it comes to that, you could find us along here.
Do you have a plan for when you will be advancing, returning to this place?
Before winter. The last time we went, it was cold.
As far as I am aware, it is always cold in that place.
You're right, Spuds.
Before winter, though. Autumn has just turned. The leaves on the trees have started to fade. Oranges and browns. You have not much time before winter hits. Weeks, perhaps.
This winter, I think we're shooting for next, right?
Spring would be a good time to shoot for.
He's just playing it, cat. You know.
And Tara is going with you.
She has stated such.
Send word when you are ready to advance and where your forces will rally. And I will see if I can convince my father to release a detachment. And short of that, I will be there at least.
He kind of holds an arm out at this point. Kind of the classic forearm shake.
Good. You'll hear of messengers if we go.
Excellent. Safe travels, dwarf.
I'll nod at that.
At point, he kind of stands up a little straighter. Suddenly he's kind of fixes his hair. He kind of runs a hand through his hair. And he kind of turns around. He looks at like the ring of the barracks. And he's like, "The lot of you, get back to it. What is wrong with you?" And you start seeing him starting to shout orders left and right as he feels this surge of positivity and encouragement kind of coursing through him. Okay. Anybody else want another scene?
Gilly would have gone like first light to Agna.
Okay.
In the library, yeah.
Maybe you and Floy took the same ferry. You just kind of split off in different directions. But yeah, you can chase down Agna.
Oh, Gilly Kettlegrass again. Oh, goodness. I've heard the most disturbing rumor that you, young lady, killed a very powerful orc. It's all about the streets. Everyone has been talking about it.
Already? Oh, wow.
Yes. Some small hobbit from the Breelands is the one to take down that which could not be broken. Now, unless there's another hobbit from the Breelands here that I am not aware of, I assume they mean you.
Yeah, yes, it was me.
Are you out of your mind? You are far too intelligent to be going head first into battle with these creatures. Let those foolish friends of yours do it. You fight battles with your mind from a distance. You give them information, research, context.
Which I gather, that's why I'm here today. And Gilly's like, I don't have much time before we leave, but I wanted you to have this information in case anyone came to you for it. And she just starts unloading the information that we discovered about the orcs while we were there. And like, she's frantically like writing it down. So Agna has a copy of it. If there's anyone else, I believe Floy will be reaching out to Thurnau, but we're heading eventually to Angmar to combat at this evil. And I know, but this needs to be done. And she's going to give rough maps of like the path that we're intending to take. Just in case Thurnau loses his, I'm going to leave this here with you.
My dear, I am not joining you. Are you out? You are out of...
No,
do
no,
you have
you're...
a bruise somewhere? Is your noggin out of place?
No. And Gilly just laughs and she's like,
Angmar.
I know this information would be safe with you. And it's needed. And
I will take your information. I imagine if that is where you're headed, this is the last we will ever speak. And for that I am sad.
I hope not. I've returned once.
Foolish hobbit. What's wrong with you? You're going to get yourself killed.
It's likely. But I hope not.
Books, libraries, studies, archives. That is what you should be after. Not vainglorious fortunes and battle. Come now.
I am writing the story of my fellowship and of my friends. We're creating our own adventure, and I am learning so many things and visiting so many more libraries than I've ever expected I'd be able to.
No. Good heavens, girl. This is the only library this side of Gondor. There is no other archive within a crow's flight. If you want to learn, there's plenty more books here to learn. If you want to write, we have plenty of parchment here, ink that you could write it with. You don't have to go running off to some godforsaken land. Ugh.
And Gilly just kind of just smiles because she's appreciating the browbeating because it reminds her of her mom. Mm-hmm. And she just kind of like reaches out and takes her hand and says, "Thank you, but I do have to do this."
Fine. Well, if you're going to do this, you're writing their histories, well, you're going to need more vellum, and you're going to need more parchment.
And she's like starting to now just start like giving you like scrolls of like blank scrolls of paper, like reinforcing these inkwells.
And you're going to need one of this and some of this here. And oh goodness, you need to take your notes far more carefully and organized than that. You can't just draw and write and you're going to need this.
And she just kind of stacks you up with stuff at this point.
And Gilly, well, thank you. I do appreciate your friendship. When I do return, I'll come seek you out first.
Yes. I will look forward to that then. And you will return. Even if you have to leave your foolish friends behind.
And Gilly just kind of like nods, but she doesn't give any verbal confirmation. Like that's something that she would do.
Okay, we'll close out of that one. Any other scenes that you wanted to do in Tharbad? Okay, if that's...
Aurenia would have had quite the hangover.
Yeah.
And so she's just going to get a full bowl of whatever Titus has cooked up. So she kind of comes downstairs, just very much sort of like holding her chest wound, holding her head.
And you're like taking steps.
Is it okay if Tara
has
a quick chat with Aurenia, or do you want to be left alone to nurse your hangover?
I'll get the food first, and then you can find me.
I'm gonna say, as you're taking steps to go down, and you're like wincing, you suddenly your feet aren't hitting the steps, and you hear, "No, you can't do your walking yourself. Miss Gilly said I have to look out for it." And you see Titus has very gently lifted you up and is like walking you down the stairs.
Oh,
and then very carefully sets you into a very what looks to be an attempt at making a cushioned chair. As you see, like various pillows have been like wrapped, and there's cords.
And I made this special for you. Now sit right here, right here. If you die, she's going to be very upset with me, and I don't want her to be upset with me. I hear she can kill people with one shot of an arrow, and I don't want her to hit me.
You were drinking with me last night. How are you already so awake and loud?
I have a very advanced constitution.
I see, which is to my benefit because you have already made food. So I do thank you,
Would you like
for that.
a secret? We call it hair of the dog.
And why do you call it that?
Well,
or is
because
that the secret?
There's hairs from dogs in it. Of course.
Has this been in all of the other night's offerings?
Of course not. Don't be ridiculous.
And he kind of puts a big old mug of ale down, sloshes over the froth, reaches into his pocket, and he pulls out like a handful of hair, and he just kind of sprinkles it over.
Now drink it. You'll feel better. I guarantee it.
You drank this and now you feel better?
I'm not going to drink that. That's got hair in it.
And Iridia will, she feels awful, so she's just gonna.
Okay.
Oh, I will take you at your word, Titus. And it's one of those like, just drink it all in like 3 gulps,
Sure.
because don't think about this too much.
And you put it right back down, and he fills it immediately back up.
Just in case.
And so we'll say, Tara, you come down as well as the two of you are at a table in the Bridge Inn. He can bring you whatever you need. The two of you are there.
Good morning.
Hey. You look. Did you drink that hair thing?
Yes.
Oh, you know, I know it tastes awful, but you're gonna feel so much better in an hour.
I hope so.
I had mine an hour ago, so
that makes me feel
very
better.
good. It's disgusting, but it's very good.
Did you enjoy yourself last night?
I did. Can I talk to you before we leave?
And she'll look around and no one else is there, and of course.
I want to thank you for all of the help, because I am certain that it would not have happened without you vouching for me and for this that I'm doing here. So thank you.
Well, we all have to thank you. We came here not fully aware of the ins and outs of the politics of this, and I don't know that we would have been even able to get through the door successfully without your connections here. So this was quite fortuitous that you were here.
You should not have been arrested. Gurna was nothing if not heavy-handed. In any case, that is neither here nor there as we're leaving. But that was the other thing I wanted to thank you about, is to allow me to join you. Because you know what it's like. And she suddenly looks very uncomfortable. Believe people all the time. But sometimes it's harder than other times, you know?
And I'll say Aureniel's head is starting to clear a little bit. And she'll kind of start to grin a little bit. It does appear that you have made a bit of a deeper connection here than you might have told me of in years past.
Some of the locals have good stories. And Tara knows Eric can read between the lines. And I don't know if we will return, but I do know that if we want Tharna's help, we can ask for it. So I want you to know that. I will, of course, tell everybody else, but
the road ahead is a very dangerous one, Tara, and you know this. We've fought alongside each other before. We are likely next going to attempt to find support from our kin at the angle. But after that, I do not think we will be wasting any more time.
yes. It's an odd thing to know you might be marching to your death and be all right with it.
It is quite the odd feeling.
It is. It
Don't know that I will ever be okay with it.
no, it's it will never stop being surprising to me how connected you feel to people by just being around them for a small amount of time.
I agree. I would happily step in front of a sword for any of my traveling companions.
I know you would. I'm happy to end that scene there, unless there's something Erna wants to say. Taryn is just needed a moment of girl talk.
With Titus just sort of like,
Yeah.
hovering.
That's when Gilly
He like
walks
moves
in
over
with all of
and
her
then turns
vellum.
around. Yeah, you're like stumbling, everything's falling, and so he just runs over and helps you. Okay. Anyone else have any lingering business they want to attend to in Tharabad? Okay. If that
Did
is the
we-
case.
Did we want to send out messages to people advising that to meet us somewhere maybe after winter?
You could try to do that here, but the rules here might prove to be a hindrance to that. That might something be better done in Bree, where you have more free in and out control of messengers. But that's something that can be done. Yeah, we don't have to play that out as a scene, but like we could do that as a task. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. But are there any other scenes that anyone wants? Okay. So then. I think we're going to call it there because we're going to be diving into a journey phase, and we don't necessarily need to start the journey phase right now. As next time we play, it sounds like we're journeying to the Angle, I believe, to try to find this ranger encampment that you learned about many sessions ago, and that Tara is probably more intimately familiar with, in fact. And so we will see that. Okay. And so, yeah, and also Tara, Mitra, you can actually play the journey phase. I don't think you've done one yet, so because we met you in Tharabad. So journey phase is pretty fun.
yay.
Amazing.
Yeah, I have it all prepped and ready to go, so I don't even have to prep. All right, why don't we do some plugs and such? Mitra, let's start with you. Where can we find you on the internets, and what do you do on the internets?
Well, I learn new systems with you guys, and when I'm not doing that and having inconvenient pseudo relationships with the autocrats' sons, I make multi-system or system agnostic content for YouTube about tabletops on my 3 plays games. I'm taking a bit of a break from content creation right now, but I have a backlog of like 30 or 40 videos that are like 15 minutes each if you want to check it out. Yeah, that's me.
Fantastic. For the rest of us here on the Lollygaggers, our next game is Monday. You can see Melissa and I as we are back to Holler for Savage Worlds. We are continuing our special guest appearance of Tracy Sizemore, one of the developers of Holler. She's been running us through a special Savior of Hollow Oak scenario. And I think we're going to be concluding that on Monday. So come hang out. And then Tuesday, what do we got, Steven?
We're back to Forbidden Lands. We missed a week, but we ended on a cliffhanger. We're going to jump right into a nice little boss fight. And I think I'm going to take a page from Jeff's book and start targeting the short people.
I'm just going to go out the door and leave. Be like, oh, there's a door right here. Let's go out that. That'd be great. Looking forward to getting back. I did miss playing Gunk this week. And then next week would normally be Friday Blade Runner, but Melissa and I are actually going to be out. So next Friday, next Saturday, no game. So we will be back to One Ring in 2 weeks. So we will begin the journey towards this ranger settlement to see if we can recruit more people to the fight, and kind of go from there. So thank you to everyone who hung out tonight. Thank you to all you threw out bits, especially those of you who gave it to me, because that's way more interesting than giving it to the players. But I guess thank you for those as well. Those are great. Thank you for the raids.
Thank you for keeping us alive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Someone needs to die though. We could just. I'm just saying.
Yeah, get to Angmar first, and then we'll take care of
Boromir didn't die in Mordor. Okay, I just want to point that out. He didn't even make it out of the first movie. So that's all I'm saying. Yeah. And then, so we're going to go ahead and raid someone right now. We're going to go ahead and raid our friends over at the Boys from the Baltic Star. So if you want to continue your enjoyment of ttrpgs this Saturday, follow the raid, follow them, follow us if you haven't been following us yet, and check out the YouTube page as well, Adventures in Lollygagging, where we got all of our old games up there from the last couple of years if you want to get more entertainment. So good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out.